Welcome, welcome. A second round of painting on Saturday morning. Want to get these guys done, can't you tell? All right. Where were we at a couple hours ago? No, we're working on this Polish knight right here. And we still have two more to go after him. All right. What color lance are we going to have on this guy? Let's give him a white one. Rick, finally up. Wake up! Hey, you probably just went to sleep. Now this is my time for painting. There you go. Grab a paintbrush. You don't have to paint. You're probably, are you grinding in a game while you're doing this? God, I hate grinding. I remember when gaming wasn't grinding. Games are a lot shorter though. Grinding for shit. Speaking of grinding, there's a game a long time ago we used to play on the PC called Ultima. I don't remember if it was Ultima something or another, but it was Ultima. It was kind of a top-head view, and it was EGA graphics, and it sucked and everything, and you went around and... Anyhow, so this guy I was playing with, there's these trolls and stuff you can fight. And I forget how the combat is. I don't think it was real time. I think you took a turn and you did your little attack or whatever. Well, you could loot the bodies, and they would have these damn not javelin spears, I think is what it was. They were basically worthless. The guy I was playing with, he'd want to loot them all, even though it was I do things that are cost effective. I'm not going to not throw away every single coin if the time that I'm using to recoup the money or whatever in a game is not worth it. That's just stupid. You spend 5 minutes on making 12 gold or something like that. No grinding now, getting ready for a funeral. Oh, whoops. You got a lot of that happen in your life, unfortunately. Man. I was about to say, hopefully it's someone you didn't care for, but then you wouldn't be going to their funeral. So, man. Yeah, grinding sounds better than that. But yeah, it's grinding. I won't do it if it isn't worth the cost of it, of doing the grinding. So, and I remember that so I say that I don't do any science fiction. I really am not a science fiction fan. I'm actually more of a fantasy fan than a science fiction, because I haven't played, gaming-wise, very many science fiction games. I've played the BattleTech game, and I've played, what else have I played that would be considered science fiction? The BattleTech and Borderlands. I like Borderlands. Other than that, and I used to play Doom back in the day, but other than that, I've never played any science fiction stuff. It's just a venue that really doesn't interest me very much. But fantasy, big fan of the Diablo series, and we played those all the way through. But there was a rehash where they were bringing back Diablo 2 to the consoles, 20 years freaking later. I mean, I'm not buying it. I've already spent probably thousands of hours, tens of thousands of hours probably playing that game in around year 2000. I'm not playing again. But one of the things talking about grinding is one of your characters you could play was the Amazon, as I like to call her, the Bo Bitch. I like Bo Bitches a lot. I like those kind of characters. But you have to buy arrows. So I think there was 256 arrows in each each thing or something like that, in each quiver, and you had to go to town and buy arrows. Every time you shot, it consumed one. They finally dispensed with that in Diablo 3. In Diablo 1, there was no arrows, but you lost durability on your bow every time you shot it. So there was kind of arrows and that you had to go back to town. Diablo 2, you didn't lose durability on your bow. I don't think so. But you had to buy arrows. And Diablo 3, they just said, you know, why just stop wasting people's freaking time. So yeah, I'm not buying arrows again ever. That's just dumb. That's just dumb, 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 dumb. Yeah, it was an old family friend. He passed from Alzheimer's, but unlike my grandma who had it later in life, he was only 62. Holy shit. I didn't know you could get it that young. Wow. That sucks, man. 62. Wow. So grinding. What was that thing that we used to play when we played World of Warcraft? Grind for some kind of skin or something like that for these lizards for their skin. I didn't like that game because you couldn't do much by yourself. And if you're going to play a game, it's nice to be able to play with people, but you should be able to play alone also. I mean, if you're going to play a video game, it should have some alone play capability. And it just gets to the point where you can't progress any further by just playing with yourself. You know, so people still play that game? I guess people still play that game. That was the first game that I believe that I ever played where you couldn't, what's the correct term for it? You couldn't constantly hit potions, health potions. You had to wait a certain amount of time. What's that called? Spam. You couldn't spam health potions. I think that's the correct terminology. I don't know. I'm not much of a gamer, I guess. I don't know those terminology. But yeah, I haven't played that game since like 2006. Played it quite a bit. It was fun for a little while. But unlike the Diablo series, I never felt like I needed to play all the other different characters. I was like fine picking the one and playing that one character. I didn't want to play the other characters and finish the games and so forth. So, all right, this guy's going to have a white lance. A white lance. I got some time to myself. And I'm like, well, I could go play some video games or I could do more painting. I'm going to do painting. I want to get these guys done. So I got off and I did do a little bit of video gaming. I put the videos up that I said I was going to. It should be up there for you guys to enjoy watching it this weekend. Maybe you'll enjoy it, maybe you won't. And yeah, did a little bit of video gaming. A little bit. Been playing with an Oculus. We got one a couple of years ago. And I wasn't terribly impressed until I got it. And then it's pretty freaking cool as long as you find a game that works for you. And they have these series of flight simulators and they honestly work really freaking good. I mean, they work better than than anything else I've ever seen. I've played a fair amount of flight simulators, and just being able to look wherever the hell you want to look while you're flying around is super, super handy. And and just being able to talk to people. But whether you get somebody in the room with you that is not a complete moron is another thing altogether, you know. But yeah, it's quite a bit of fun. But it's not the same as face-to-face gaming. So I mean, this takes precedent over anything else. But tornado siren testing is going on, getting ready for tornado season. Yeah, you can keep that to yourself. You can keep that over there. I don't want any part of that. A tornado siren. Do you have a basement? Is that where you're supposed to go if a tornado's coming? Go to your own basement? See, I'd be afraid of, the house caving in and I'm trapped. I've had lots of dreams about tornadoes too. And I've never seen one. Nor do I want to. I have no interest, but I've had lots of dreams about them. Lots of dreams like, it's coming this way, so I run the other way and it's following me. I've thought about if one hit at work, where would I go? Stuff like that. No, thank you. Yep, down in the basement. I've never lived in a house that has a basement. I have no idea what that is. That's the room that smells funny, right? That's the room that smells like England. Like an English bookstore. Never had a basement in a house. Well, I'm glad I didn't mow. Because there's my favorite friend, lightning, or thunder, that goes with lightning. Man, I hate that stuff. The devil's farts. Uh-oh. Your game room is your basement. Oh, really? I had no idea where that awesome room was. But there's a smaller room down there where my sump pump is that's under the stairs where I'd hide if I had to. I've had to once so far in my 7 years here. Jared Heine, welcome. Can you see Oculus being used for wargaming? Say adapting AR, have a war games table, but move around virtual figures on it, something like that. I think there's a game now. Oculus is very limited on what games they have, but I think they've got like a Dungeons and Dragons dungeon crawl game with dice, and you move the figures on it. I don't know what it's called. There's not a whole lot of things on it. I didn't think there was a whole lot of things on it, but there's a thing on Oculus that I did not know about called, I think it's called Side Quest. And it's kind of like the games that are on Oculus, the way I understand them, are ones that have been play tested and are supposedly glitch free or whatever. But there's these whole other independent kind of side games called Side Quest. And the game that I downloaded 3 days ago, it was all advertised on the pages, was actually a side quest game. It was a World War I simulator that's called Warplanes of World War I or something like that. Yeah, real clever name for it. And they came out with a Pacific World War II one, and I couldn't find it. And then I went through the whole system, and it's basically, oh, well, you've got to download this browser and go to this one thing, all within the Oculus, and go to and download this off this side quest. So I haven't seen what else is available on side quest, but legitimate Oculus games, or I don't know if the side quest games aren't legitimate. I don't know anything about it. I just found out about it 2 days ago, the side quest stuff. But there is a role playing game where you're like at a table and you're. I don't know that it's a role playing game. I think it's kind of like Hero Quest, and you roll dice and stuff like that, and you can interact with other people. I haven't messed with it at all. I don't have it, but can I see it being used for wargaming? Sure. Sure. I thought the VR thing was pretty stupid. I thought I was never going to get one, and then my wife decided for not this Christmas, but the one before, to get one for my daughter and I, to share or whatever. And I'm like, this is going to be dumb. And it looks a hell of a lot better when you have the thing on than any pictures or videos that you see on YouTube. It actually looks really good, and the flight simulators are amazing. They really are amazing, because if you've played a lot of flight simulators, one of the things that's annoying to do is that you're limited by this view that's in front of you of the computer screen. So when you're turning, you can't really see another plane until you're like right on top of it. But with the VR goggles, you can turn like this and then look up, and you can see. Of course, if you do it a lot, your neck gets hurt. But you can see what's going to come in on your view, or you'll pass a plane and you can keep your eye on it while you're flying the other way. It's really, really amazing, and the graphics look pretty good, and it runs pretty smooth. I mean, I was playing one scenario where there was like 100 bombers in the air or something like that. It was just something, really outlandish, but it actually ran pretty smooth. But this World War II game is pretty neat. It's pretty neat. I'm not a big fan of World War II Pacific stuff, but it's still pretty cool. And yeah, it's a cool game. I could see it being used for wargaming, but the problem is that there's so many war games that you'd have to find one that you're actually interested in. So they've got that tabletop simulator for DBA, but it's just too, like, that's not really geared for me. I've got somebody I can play with, and but I could see it being useful. But somebody's got to program that, and it wouldn't be me. I am not a computer programmer by any stretch of the imagination. So I'd rather sculpt figures by hand with green stuff than computer program anything. I don't know what that dungeon crawl thing is called, so. But I think it's pretty cool. The thing that sucks the most about Oculus is that it has limited games for it. That's really the only thing that sucks for it. The battery on it doesn't last a horrible long time, but you can plug it in with a USB-C and then basically have unlimited battery. Now, I can see some of those flight simulators, if you had motion sickness or motion issues, you couldn't play them. I can tell you from playing them quite a bit, I don't suffer from any motion sickness issues, because if I did, I wouldn't be able to play those things. So they're pretty freaking cool. They're really freaking cool. I did try downloading a. I need to take care of something. I'll be right back before I end up making myself bleed. I'm not even going to put it on pause. I'll be right back. I wouldn't look at those videos that are available and pass judgment on it based on that, because it really does not do it any justice. They're really pretty amazing. Really pretty amazing. All right, well, I don't need any beverage if I can have a piece of gum here. So let's get a piece of gum. So I downloaded a shooter. Those military type terrorist, counter-terrorist type shooters a couple months ago for the Oculus. It's way too freaking stressful. Because in the process of learning the game, you've got to do all the actions. You've got to like drop the magazine and reload it. And it's all pretty, while you're learning to do it, I ended up getting attacked by zombies or something. It's just way too stressful. Like, I don't need that in my life. I could play a flight simulator all day long and it's not stressful, but just, having some zombies coming after you, even though they're slow moving zombies, and I can't figure out how to, put another magazine in the pistol or whatever to take them out. Yeah, that's way too much stress. I don't need that in my life. I do not need that in my life. So I returned it. I'm like, nope, we don't need this. I think if you play it less than 2 hours, you can get your money back. Yeah, I think I was like 15 minutes. I'm like, I'm done. Not for me. All right, we're done with this. Let's polish up his armor. Should have some left over. I think this is the darker shade though. I need to put some of the lighter one beside it. And I don't know why all of a sudden my internet's just running like shit while I'm doing this. I don't know. I'm going to blame it on the drones. Well, I did make myself bleed. Oh well. Let's go switch to a red shirt. All right. It sucks that it's raining on the weekend, but it's a hell of a lot better than on a work day. Because right now, it's not keeping me from doing anything. Hey, good morning, Scott. You coming on Monday? I need to put that message out there. Hey, who's coming on Monday? One of life's biggest mysteries. Who's going to show up to play? Yep, okay. Well, rumor has it we might actually have somebody show up that hasn't showed up in, like, I don't know, before the pandemic. We'll see if he shows up. If he does, we'll let him pick whatever the hell he wants to do. We'll see. I'm kind of enjoying playing the scenario games more than anything else. But there's a limited number of those. All right. Where is... There is the buff color. It's got to be out here somewhere already. I put it away. Well, that'll never happen again. Mighty running a big game Monday. He's not. He's leaving it for the convention. No, it's Don that supposedly is said he might make it, but I'm not holding my breath. No, Marty's waiting until we get like 6 or 8 people is what he said. I think one of the goals I'm going to do is once I get through these things I've kind of committed to doing, I'm going to work out some of the forces to do like a late Roman campaign game, like the one that we did. Like the one that we did by back at Historicon one year, where everybody plays it. You got one big map that also serves as your battlefield, and you've got, I think there was like 3 Roman players. And this is like, Fall of Rome stuff. And you got somebody who plays the Huns and the Ostrogoths and the Visigoths and the Franks and the Vandals, and they all play, and they all come from different ends of the board, and they all have different victory conditions that, fight amongst each other, fight the Romans, plunder shit, Had a hell of a blast playing that back in, I want to say it was 2007 at Historicon. That was a really cool game. Not because I won, but it was a cool game. It was because I ended up getting like 3 artillery shots on generals in the rear, and that was 2.2, so if you outscored them, they popped. So, allows for thematic changes to the rules. Yeah, I do too. And I like those things where it's like, sometimes you got to fight to the death. Sometimes you're not playing with all your forces. Sometimes, and the scenario doesn't have to be balanced. You could just switch sides and play it again. As long as it gives you interesting choices or opportunities to make, I think that's appealing. Because I've kind of gotten past the point where, I'm going to build this army for this event at this convention. Because it's like, then I'm under pressure to get them done by a certain time. And if they don't get done, then, I'm getting stressed out by it. It's just like, you know what? I'll start a project. I'll finish it whenever I finish it. I won't start another one until this is done. And we'll just plug along, And no harm, no foul. Michael, welcome. Good. I don't know that one. That's not on the dice. I can't make that out, whatever number that is. Good morning to you too. I can't make out any of the languages that use a different alphabet than the standard alphabet. I just want to know one thing. I want to know why the hell Arabic numerals are called Arabic numerals and then the Arabs don't use them. That doesn't make any sense. That's like algebra 2 cents. Doesn't make any sense. That's an irrational number. Yeah, the truceless video is interesting and entertaining. Okay. You too, man. We'll see you on Monday, Scott. Yeah, we just another one dropped yesterday. We were planning on getting together yesterday and playing, and then Connor decided to put down another set of scenarios, that was the Scipios in Spain, and they dropped yesterday, and we played them yesterday, so that worked out perfectly. We're trying to do the series that are more interesting, varied starts and stuff like that, and that one's a 4-game series, and we did that one last night. So check it out if you haven't already. It just got uploaded overnight and put the final touches on it after the painting session first thing this morning. So it is up there for your viewing pleasure. It's the same low cost as the rest of the videos too. Yeah, people love the Carthaginians for some reason. I figured, well, let's give people what they like. That truceless video seemed to be pretty popular. So, good old Cote d'Arms. Oh, we can't use this color. It's too close to the horse trappings. The horse cloth. I'm not gonna like how it's gonna end up. All right. Let's use a dark green then, because I have a lot of that leathery type color. I don't want to rely on that for everything. I guess I'm glad I didn't mow the lawn after all. I would have been caught in the middle of it. Okay. There's a horse underneath here. you know what? The horse cloth may be the same color it's underneath there. I think it is. All right. Let's make it back up. Some of these manufacturers just have to kind of figure out, oh, that's what that is when I paint it. Okay. That actually happens fairly often. The fight on the half mat was a bit non-plus. I agree. Just push and shove till the dice broke. Hey, but sometimes that's the battle. I agree with you completely on both of those things. It was nice as a change. The interesting thing is the army that had the advantage, I thought my army had the advantage and they all lost. So, I guess that's good. You know, I don't like foregone conclusions. It's like, I got better things to do than play something that you know is going to go one way or the other. So it's nice when that isn't the case. Slavik, oh man, I gotta read it. Okrzezik. Slavik Okrzezik. Good morning. Just dropped by. It says you're off to my duties. Happy painting. Okay. Thanks for stopping by, Slavik. Painting your people right now. Got this guy to finish and 2 more nights, and these guys can go into battle with the Moldavians as the Moldavian allies. So I want to get these guys done this weekend so we can start painting some Byzantines. Getting busy with the Byzantines. Okay. We're going to put gloves on this guy. Or glove. The other one's probably hiding back here. Beneath the shield. Why are you hiding? Can't wait to see them all. Just ending my Teutonic Order army. Maybe I'll send you the link later. Absolutely. Absolutely. The Toots. Root and Toot. Toots are actually one of the more popular Book 4 armies. All right, we gotta need this metal in the corner here. Which Byzantine army are you doing? I have 329 thematic and 365 Nicephorian. Or Nicephorian. I have neither one of those. I'm building Book 4, 1A and B, the Komnenen, and I'm going to retrofit them back to the Constantinian as well. So I want to build the command post. So the knights will be all the same. I think there's only a couple stands. I could make the Constantinian one with the info. So the Constantinian and the two Achaemenid, I'm not Achaemenid, the two Komnenen armies. Two Komnenen and the Constantinian. So let's see if there's any caffeine in the house. I'll be right back. So the other day I was filming about 3 weeks ago, and I said, "Man, I hope I don't lose power." And boom, we lost power. So I'm going to use my special skill again and do it again. I hope we don't lose power. So hopefully we don't get disconnected. Michael says, so I'm going with a 15 millimeter depth instead of 20 millimeter depth on my solid elements. I don't want to get smacked down by Will Smith at some DVA event. Yeah. Well, I did it for a couple reasons. The biggest reason is I didn't want to retrofit all my old elements. I didn't want my old elements have to be retrofitted. I wanted them to match them. And I think that they look better. The solid elements look more solid when they're more condensed together. That's all. That convention in there is technically in there so that some of these larger figures like Zeiston or whatever, some people have issues getting them all on a 15 millimeter stand. I don't, but some people do. The only elements that I've had a big problem putting them on a certain stand, and it's not chariots, even though chariots do overhang, it's those museum camels. The museum camels that fit on a 40 by 30 just aren't big enough. They're like, they're taking these really long steps, and there's no way to get them on there unless you put them in like at a 30-degree angle, which I wasn't going to do. Other than that, I haven't had a problem with cataphracts, anything like that. So that's the only units that I'm planning on. Well, I just didn't use them. I just flat out didn't use those guys. But the that's my I don't plan on putting my heavy infantry on 20s. I just don't, and I know it's better for recoil purposes and all that stuff, but that's kind of like a gimmick. I think that if you're doing it for that, it's just I think it's what makes them unique is is having the handicap. Like for instance, if you're doing late Romans, the late Romans auxilium blade, they're blade, solid blade and solid auxilia. They're both four figures on a stand. If you put them both on 40 by 20s, you can't tell them apart of each other at a glance. And I like the idea that the more solid army ends up looking more densely packed. I just like that. If you guys want to not do that, that's fine. But that's the reason why I'm doing it. That and it matches all the other figures, and in other rules, they're supposed to be on 15s as well. So if you plan on using them for other set of rules as well, you might want to consult and see if that's you don't want to base them on 20s and then realize, oh shit, I was going to use them in Armati also, and Armati won't let me do that. So. If you look at the rule book, the basic reason to allowance of that is just to get larger figures to fit on your stand. It wasn't for some gimmick of recoil in the same depth and stuff like that. So, anyhow, I will not be converting to the 20 millimeter deep heavy infantry. I would have been fine with it if that's how it was originally, but. But I think what we're going to do is, sooner rather than later, we're probably going to start doing some scenario play, testing a couple of rules. I think that would make the game better. I don't want to throw them out in like a regular convention game, just like a scenario game, and just see how they play. They may work great. They may suck. But one of them is the auxilia, the solid auxilia. I don't think they're well represented in the game. I think they move too slow. I think they should move 2.5 base widths. And I think they should, if they are lined up side to side with another solid element, they should get a +1. So they'd become a 4 to their fighting ground troops. But, I don't want to do that as a house rule. Try it in a scenario and see if it has the correct results, stuff like that. So, and it doesn't matter if the scenario isn't balanced. You can play both sides. Don't focus too much effort on trying to make the scenario 100% balanced, because nothing is 100%. But anyhow, make sure you check out those battles that we did last night. They were pretty cool. Yeah, you hear that? Rolling thunder. And it may cause me to go ahead and just disconnect. We'll see. We'll see how much it. We'll see how bad it gets. I personally hate lightning and thunder. Absolutely hate it. It's a bad invention. And this is the lightning capital, Florida. I'm glad I didn't mow. I wouldn't have gotten a chance to finish. But the Byzantines that I have are a mixture of, they're going to be Old Glory, they're going to be Elaine Tuller, and I want to say I have some by somebody else too. I don't think it's museum. Not those, not the later Byzantines aren't museum. I've got some for the earlier Byzantines, but yeah. Let me take a look at this map. Let's see what this was. I'm beside which I prefer. All mine are 15s, mainly. It's holdover from DBMM. Okay, let's take a look at raining now. I don't give a shit about rain. Oh, this is a big old nasty coming. Let's see. Let me find where we are on the map. Well, it looks like it's not going to last us terribly long time.